Meanwhile, the government and rebel forces are facing increasing pressure to lay down their arms and negotiate a ceasefire. CGTN's Girum Challa sat down with Billene Seyoum, the Prime Minister's press secretary. Let's listen in.
We know that the African Union is trying to broker peace between the government and the TPLF group. Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, is now engaged. He is in the country. What is the government's stake of his efforts?
So, His Excellency President Olusegun Obasanjo is designated by the African Union as a special envoy for the Horn of Africa. We believe and we are fully committed to African solutions to African problems. So we respect the decision of the African Union to make this a continental wide effort. And by doing so, in their designation of His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, we respect him as an elder, as a statesman that has had quite a reputation throughout the continent for bringing various groups together and conferring around issues of peace and security. We do believe that he's also well positioned to do that.
On the other hand, the UN complains that its employees have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. We've heard investigation is pending, according to the federal police, but this is more than 90 people. Why are they in custody? And what is the response that you have for the UN's complaints?
So I would have to first share with you that the United Nations is a key partner for Ethiopia as well. The United Nations is also comprised or constituted based on Ethiopia's willingness to forge a strong foundation for multilateralism as well. Ethiopia was one of the founders of the League of Nations. So having set this context for the role that Ethiopia plays within the United Nations and understanding that the role the United Nations plays in Ethiopia, we have to be very careful in positioning or viewing individuals who work within this institution and putting them on a platform that is not considering that they're not above reproach. There are many actors within the institution that are working for very noble causes, but there are also individuals that we've seen who are utilizing their power and their privilege that is bestowed upon them by serving these institutions for very, destructive purposes as well. So we are under a state of emergency that has been enacted last week by the House of People's Representatives has endorsed it, and the Council of Ministers has put it up for endorsement by the House of People's Representatives. What this means is, through the state of emergency, anybody that is suspected with aiding and abetting terrorist organizations, namely the two that the House of People's Representatives has brandished as that, is, if they're suspected, will be called for any kind of investigations. So from what I understand at this point, yes, there's investigations going on, but there are individuals who are working within that organization that are suspected of aiding and abetting these terrorist organizations. And like I said, just because you have an affiliation with international organizations, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're above reproach if you are suspected of doing anything that is threatening the territorial integrity and stability of the nation.